Hi, I'm Dan Schmitt, and this is Team Chicago Challenge. I'm in Edd Kubik's garage. We are going to change the clutch in my Triumph. I roped Ed in to give me a hand because I just think it's a lot easier if someone else helps me. Then we got 4 hands doing the project, and I can shoot some of the footage. But we're putting a new Bob Newby dry clutch in here. I already have a dry clutch in my Triumph, and with a belt drive, something I replaced probably in 1980. But this new clutch, the other thing, I can't get clutch plates anymore for this clutch, and this clutch has been modified a few times. So I think it was worth the investment to buy a new clutch. We're going to put the new clutch in. Ed's going to give me a hand. Ed is a pretty well-known British aficionado, and we're going to take a chance and look at his BSA also, because he has maybe the best BSA they ever made, because he's got it's only a 650 Hornet, but they were very fast bikes. So what first we're going to do, we're going to look at the old clutch setup. We're going to start taking it apart, and then we'll talk about what we're doing to put the new clutch in.
So this is a regular thread, correct?
Yeah.
She's off.
We remove the bolt
Okay.
that holds the drive sprocket in place. It's at the end of the crankshaft on this engine.
Yeah, I said regular thread because it was left hand. All we'd be doing is tightening it.
Right.
Okay.
That's just a spacer there.
Pardon?
That aluminum thing is just a spacer.
Oh, right here?
Yeah, you're going to have to use a pliers. So.
Yeah, you're going to use that spacer over?
I don't know. We'll have to see. But we should mention that both BSA and Triumph were made by the same company. Now, Triumph might have been a different company earlier, but when these bikes were made, BSA was the mother company.
But that does not mean parts are interchangeable.
No, right.
They were, yeah, Triumph to me was always the small bore long stroke, and BSA was the large bore short stroke.
Right.
And I know people love Triumphs, but really the architecture of the BSA engine being large bore short stroke was more like a Chevy.
So
where the Triumph was more like a Ford.
Even when they were pre-unit, were they?
Yeah, I think they were the same way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think BSA went to the unit construction before Triumph did.
62 or 63, yeah, they called it the Power Egg. Probably because of its kind of oval shape.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The Power Egg?
Egg,
Okay,
yeah.
right. All right, and as you can see, these clutch plates are pretty worn.
And pretty heavy.
Now you can see how I had to modify this unit here. You can see the square.
Oh, you went from square to round?
Well, right here.
Yeah. It's square.
Oh wait, hold the light.
Yeah.
Okay. So right here, they had tabs. And on this clutch, these tabs were getting really
Beat up. You can see that right down here.
Right.
Right here, yeah.
So, right, you can see that right there.
Yeah.
So, what I did is I put these long pins in, and then I notched the fiber plate.
Yeah.
So I put a notch in, and I put the pins in,
Yeah.
and that improved things quite a bit. So exactly when I did that, I have no recognition.
Yeah.
But I would say I bought this bike in '72. I've had this engine apart twice. I keep saying I want to take the engine apart one more time to check my crank. I put new pistons in back in 2018, and they're a modern piston compared to the old pistons, which had long skirts.
Oops.
Now that the clutch plates are removed, we have to loosen up the bolt that holds the inner clutch hub,
Oops.
and then we can pull that inner clutch hub using a puller.
Oops. Okay, that's. Oh, yeah, it should come off
And now Ed has fitted his BSA puller to remove the clutch from the tapered shaft.
now. Well, hopefully we're going to get this off.
That's it.
Off the cam. Boy, we got lucky. I didn't think the BSA puller would work in there. So, let's see if we can get my puller out now. You're gonna hold on? Can you hold on to it there?
Yeah. So that's a regular A65, right?
Yep, A65 puller, and took off the Triumph hub. Okay. Okay, so now we got to get that off the crank. All right, we had a problem, and the problem was the holes were messed up, and I couldn't figure out what thread it was, and then I finally deduced that it was 3/8/16, and I retapped them, and it was just fine then.
Great. So we needed some kind of...
So we don't have a pusher, shall we say, in the center, so we might have to, as we say, use the old-fashioned method. Yeah.
Wow, look at it.
I did add a little bit of penetrating oil a couple of minutes back. And we are done.
All right, so you drilled another hole here.
Yeah, I had to drill another hole.
So actually all I need, well, we'll see at the other one what size that is.
Yeah.
But I could use this piece here and shorter bolts.
But I think there's one part of the instructions that Dan probably doesn't want to do. All right, so remove the standard clutch and sprocket. We did. Remove the splined adapter from the gearbox main shaft. So, I'm guessing, oh no, gearbox, that'd be back there. Gearbox main shaft, okay. Remove the 6 screws and withdraw the alloy plate from the inner wall of the chain case. Oh boy. This is required to ventilate the air-cooled clutch and provide clearance for the new clutch assembly. The thing about the plate that he has in there, it's not just an inspection plate. It has a support bearing, because really the clutch assembly hangs about this far out of the transmission, and it can actually flex the main shaft. I have this same setup that I added to my BSA, so I don't know if his new clutch assembly will clear that, or we have to remove that, and then, yes, he's got a nice dry clutch, but he'll probably have to clean it out after every dirt track race.
Oh, because
it'll be open in the back.
It'll be open in the back.
Yeah.
With the chain there too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But that's probably the way it's set up.
Yeah. It says, this is required to ventilate the air-cooled clutch and provide clearance for the new assembly. I would say because it's a track bike and you're not doing mileage like a street bike, if you could keep that support plate on the back, which adds a third bearing to the main shaft of the transmission, I would leave it on.
But there may not be room.
But there may not be room. We don't know until we slip it on and
nothing
else. Just slip it on and rotate it and see if we hear any noise. If we got noise, it's rubbing. We have no noise, we got clearance. I guess that's our next step.
We're going to take a break from our work as Ed fires up his 1967 BSA Hornet. It's got a 654cc engine. The bore is 2.95. The stroke is 2.91. It's almost a perfectly square engine. These bikes made close to 50 horsepower. It's the original Cherokee red paint with the original sticker on the gas tank. Now let's get back to work.
Right there.
Right there, yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yep, yep. Gotta be careful. It can be disassembled the wrong way.
It's a nice design, huh?
Yeah. Actually, if these tabs ended up here, it would work, but it wouldn't work real good.
Right.
You could have some problems. It is beautifully machined. So the problem is, does it rub against that back plate? Let's see, the keyway is down there.
We could turn it.
I gotta turn it so it's upright. Oops. I hate that when that happens.
It doesn't stick out further than it should.
No, it's not rubbing on the back. So the only question is, you're not getting some cooling. So they're saying, you know, have that open for some cooling. I don't know how much cooling you would really get from that.
Yeah, but I don't think this is going to be on the shaft all the way.
Pardon?
I don't think this is going to be on the shaft all the way.
Yeah, it looks like it is.
It's a taper.
Pardon?
Because it's a taper.
Yeah. Well, let's
Well, what if we
this was
took
the
that plate off?
this was this the
That's the washer.
there's the washer.
It's just sticking out further.
Yeah.
Want to pull that plate out?
Well, let's see. Wait, hold on. Hold on.
I'm saying with us leaving this in, I'm wondering if it's getting enough on the taper.
Well, I think it's enough on the taper, yeah. I mean, if it was hitting that plate, we would have heard it.
Right.
You know, we didn't hear anything. So, tell you what, you got the key, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need the key. It'll just sit on the taper. No, it's you look like you've got, I'd say, a good 1/8 of an inch behind there. So
So we're going to have to space the front.
I don't
gear out?
I don't know. We'd have to put that sprocket on and just put a rule across. But I have a feeling the front sprocket is flanged.
And it's
so
narrower.
that should control where the belt is going.
Right.
And this is a little bit, I'm guessing a little bit wider. I'd have to go
Than the
measure
belt?
things. So it'll find where it needs to set. There might be room on the inside and the outside. But
you think it's on that shaft enough?
yeah, it's not, it's not, we've got like a little wobble, but it's probably, I don't know if it has something to do with the tapers, I mean, because I'm looking at the front of this, and this has spun something, so the little bit of wobble might have to do with the fact that the front of this taper is a little messed up, but the back looks pretty good.
Right.
So, because, you ever spin a hub off of this, it's going to...
I mean, I'd be happy leaving this in.
Oh, I would too.
Yeah.
I would too. So if it was a matter of needing some ventilation in there...
But see, for the amount of time
yeah, you're track
I
racing.
run the engine...
Yeah, you're not road racing.
Right.
You're not road racing.
No, I mean, nothing's more, for me, any more than 8 laps.
Yeah. I mean, if ventilation was an absolute must, I would probably get some foam for air cleaners or something. I would make, you know, maybe make some holes in the top here or maybe on the outer case or something, you know. But I think for track, you know, for dirt track, you know, 8 laps, 10 laps, you know, this is not going to be an issue.
It'd be better to be clean.
Yeah, clean is more important than no oil getting in there, according to this.
Right. And now Ed and I are going to fit the clutch assembly. I am locating the keyway as I put the clutch in place, and Ed is putting the front sprocket on the shaft. As I stated earlier, 4 hands are better than 2.
Tell you what, hold on, let's, where's the nut for the back?
Oh, the nut for the...
Yeah, I have here. Oh, here we go. Ah, shit, maybe we just go with this right now.
You're on the spline though, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
This one, okay. Try to wobble it. No, looks like we're good.
As you can see, we have to put the clutch assembly and the drive sprocket on together with the belt in place. We're watching Ed tighten down on the drive sprocket as I hold the clutch unit in place.
Yeah, one of these puppies has to fit, right? Yeah.
It's going on the spline.
Yeah, I want to take it off and take a look. God, I hate being old. Yeah, we're getting it there, yeah. I think it might be all the way on, I'm guessing. They got a mallet down in the basement. I think we just turn this. Okay, that one. turn it in the center, huh? Or, I mean, is there a torque spec for this?
Yeah, the book should be a torque spec.
Yeah.
I got the manual.
Well, I meant for newbie here or whatever.
Oh, I didn't see any torque spec.
Well, because you know what I'm concerned about, here, take the wrench out, is this nut has, you can get the light there. It's got a split in it, and that it acts like a locker. You got what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's not up to the lock part.
Right.
We solved the problem with the lock nut for the clutch hub by going to a narrower washer that was hardened.
Okay, so we got everything in place, but I forgot to tell you about this whole clutch setup. So I'm going to slowly remove some of the plates, and I'm going to explain what impressed me the most about this clutch. The outer plate is his own design. It's pretty thick. There aren't a lot of plates. It's got a nice machining where the tabs go in. Looking at a tab there. But what really impresses me is the steel plate. This steel plate is definitely Bob Newby's design, and you see this tab here, right here, runs against this metal stud. So I think it's a far superior setup than the stock Triumph setup or stock British setup. So I'm pretty impressed by this clutch design that he designed. The metal plates are made specifically for this setup, and the fiber plates are also made. And they're a thick plate. I'll let you know after I race this bike one time, but it seems to release nicely. The pull on the grip, the pull on the lever hasn't been reduced as much as I thought it would be, but we'll see when I race it. I want to ride the bike, race the bike, and I'll have more opinions on this clutch setup. Another item that came out that was part of reading the instructions was, now this rod here that we're looking at, this is the push rod to activate the clutch. On the other side, on the transmission side, as you pull in the clutch lever, there are 3 balls, and you're basically by pulling in the lever causes the one side of the mechanism to go up on balls, and that ends up pushing this rod, and then this rod is what activates
The pressure plate.
the pressure plate. This is the pressure plate. And then when you push the pressure plate out, so we had to reduce the rod. The instruction says you got to do it on your own and measure your own, but we ended up probably removing close to 1/4 of an inch and maybe close to 3/16.
It was probably 3/16.
3/16 of an inch. We had to reduce it, and I'll show you when we put this back together how you adjust it.
Center of this is this looks pretty much like a standard Allen thing, but it has a little cup. Mm-hmm. So when I ground this back, I made sure there was a little radius on the front so that it would sit in that cup. Because if I made it flat, it would run around on an edge and wear into this. Mm. So, you know, I was cognizant of the fact that that had a little pocket, so I wanted to make sure I made that so it would fit in the pocket.
So we talked about, now the push rod is in there. This the main adjuster. You run it all the way in, make contact, and then a good rule of thumb is 1/2 turn. So you put the wrench in, 1/2 turn.
It looks like more than enough. How much you would back it out would really kind of also depend on what the pitch of the thread is. So he'll be able to tell when he gets it tightened up if he's got too much play in there and maybe only wanted a quarter of a turn to back out. But, you know, he'll figure it out.
So if you pull the clutch in,
He's pulling on the lever at the handlebar.
I'm pulling on that lever, and you can see that the clutch,
The center is moving, but the belt is not moving.
right. Now if you got the clutch out, now you can see you have compression,
Yeah.
and you can hear the engine. So I would say I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to tighten all these. Now, in the instructions, they say we should tighten these just not to get them flush, but to where the screwdriver is starting to hit the stud. So that's where I'm going to set this up. And I'm just going to leave it at that. And after I run the first race, or I go back, I'll run the bike a couple of times before that. But after I run the first race, I'll take the cover off and I'll take a look and see how everything is.
Well, I hope you learned something watching this clip. Special thanks to Edd Kubik. He's a machinist and a good mechanic. He raced at Santa Fe, quit the year that I started, but he also was a one-year dragon. Thank you, Ed. We had a great time installing that Bob Newby clutch. To contact me, and I'd love to hear from my audience, it's teamdan45@gmail.com. Remember, you can always search on YouTube with Dan Schmitt Motorcycle Racing for great motorcycle racing action, Dan Schmitt Politics, to learn what makes America great. And I highly encourage you to visit the World of Motorcycle Museum. They're in Winamac, Indiana, 4 miles south of North Judson. They're on Indiana Highway 39. But give them a call first at 574-896-3172. It's a great trip and a great collection of motorcycles. And to pick up your copy of the Team Chicago History Package, go to Rich's Yamaha in Lockport, Illinois on Archer Avenue. But give them a call first at 815-838-8130. Their website is richesyamaha.com. Pick up your copy of the Team Chicago History Package. If you want to learn about motorcycles and the history, the best place is to go to a swap meet. Buzz Walneck's a good friend of mine. Here's a number of dates of his events coming up. WalneckSwap.com. And we got racing at Wauseon, Ashland, and Peoria.